Shadow Binders is back in stock on shopclownfish.com. That's shopclownfish.com. And now on with the show. Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And a funny thing happened today.
What funny thing happened?
Well, it wasn't really funny haha, more like funny wow. Netflix stock dropped.
Oh no, that's more like funny ha ha ha.
Yeah, they didn't do very well today, but they're not pressing the panic button yet. And it's not just Netflix is dropping off a cliff. Disney Plus apparently is not attracting new subscribers. Netflix is slowing down. You know, people, it's almost like they've hit the ceiling.
It's almost like people went back to work.
It's almost like
they
weren't
weren't home on lockdown anymore.
It's almost like they got maybe tired of the shit on these streaming services.
Right? Yeah, I think that's part of it too, is the direction and the stuff that they've been picking up as of late isn't necessarily what people want.
Yeah. So we're gonna talk about the decline of both Netflix and Disney Plus, or at least the slowing down of subscribers. Some outlets were actually saying they're hemorrhaging subscribers, new subscribers.
I've seen that, yeah.
So before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. We don't want to hemorrhage subscribers, so please subscribe.
Please subscribe.
We do talk about pop culture, talk about the entertainment industry. We give an armchair opinion on stuff, and we're very eclectic in what we cover. Depends on what's going on that day. And this is interesting because a lot of what we cover involves Netflix and Disney Plus, and they're sort of in this arms race, I guess, to the bottom of the barrel. Like they're trying to fight each other. We've got like umpteen other streaming services coming into the mix, and the new subscribers have leveled off. Oops.
Yes, shocker.
Almost like you ran out of people who actually wanted your product.
Well, it didn't help either when they were like the Cuties debacle.
Cuties did not help.
And all that. And then now they're trying to double down on this diversity thing. Stuff with Netflix is becoming a joke now. People are like, oh, it's Netflix, so you know what you're going to get. And we saw even with the new He-Man show, I think that's part of why they made the choices that have been made that turned out to be true.
That's another video.
But they're really pushing for this, so much so that we're going to talk about they just hired people to make sure that it stays diverse. It's getting ridiculous. It's just, can't we just have good shit that just happens to be diverse? Can we just like focus on good storytelling and then find actors and actresses that are just good because it fits, not because we're trying to push more agenda shit?
No. No!
We'd rather lose money and less subscribers.
We'd rather lose money. So we'll talk about Netflix first, because it was pretty bad. It's worse than I thought it was. They said that Netflix is bleeding subscribers in the US and Canada with no sign of recovery. Streaming group issues disappointing forecast for third quarter growth.
Well, where their new hit shows looking, I don't know how that's going to go.
Yeah, this is going to go real well. We have another video talking about their diversity and inclusion initiatives. That's going to come up later. But yeah, they're going to triple down on what could potentially be costing them subscribers.
They're going to double down on what Hollywood's doing.
Yeah.
And that's going to go so well for them. And even if they sign on people, which I think, did you pull that up? They're signing on like the Zack Snyder's.
Yeah.
They're signing. It doesn't matter. They're not only going to be, even if they sign on great storytellers, they're still going to be bound by all their new guidelines and things. So you're just going to get more shit. This might be in a shinier package.
We'll talk more about the Zack Snyder situation later, and Netflix doubling down on diversity and inclusion. And that could actually have something to do with people jumping ship. Like you said, Cuties, I don't think it was...
A lot of it seems to go back to that.
That was sort of the straw that broke the camel's back for a lot of people.
I mean, they were making some weird choices. I mean, look at Anne of Green Gables, stuff they pulled there.
Oh, that was nightmare fuel.
Yeah, I mean, not just that. Some of the later seasons, they started adding characters that weren't even in the books. And then, so they had that for representation's sake, that kind of stuff.
I watched like one episode of it, and it was like really dark and real. I'm like, this is not.
Yeah, I know.
This isn't it, man. Okay, so let's.
Like Anne of Green Gables, but we'll do it gritty.
Gritty Anne of Green Gables. All right, so Netflix lost 430,000 subscribers in the US and Canada in the second quarter and issued weaker than expected forecasts for later in the year.
Wow, that's a lot.
It is, rekindling investor doubts over how the streaming group will fare after the economic reopening. California-based company predicted it would add 3.5 million subs in the third quarter, disappointing investors who were looking for a stronger rebound. Analysts had forecast that Netflix would add 5.9 million subs during the third quarter.
So the quarter they're going to now?
Yeah.
So then they have to do that plus the 500,000 they lost. So
in the past year and a half, Disney, Apple, Warner, Comcast, and others have launched streaming platforms, and there are more than 100 streaming services for consumers to choose from. It's become cable all over again. Everybody's like, hey, I'll cut the cord and get a couple of streamers, and it's cheaper than cable. It costs more to subscribe to all these services now, and it's harder to navigate. You have to go to each individual service to watch the shows you want to watch,
Yeah, it's basically the exact same thing all over again.
On a call for investors, executives dismissed the idea that competition was behind the weaker figures. Does HBO or Disney have a differential impact compared to the past? We're not seeing that in the data we have. That gives us comfort.
Data I'm seeing is you're hemorrhaging subscribers, and moving forward, you're limiting choices. Like you're deliberately doing what you can to limit things moving forward, which is going to chase people away. You're going to push certain things that's going to chase people away.
So this is what this was all about, and I did a video the other day talking about this. Intrigue over Netflix's plan to delve into video games helped offset the weakness in its core business, lifting its shares.
Yeah.
So So I'm like, yeah, we're going to open a fast food chain too.
Oh, I was going to joke. I was going to say that what's next, or chain of restaurants.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I was just going to say
that's
that.
Why we're
Did
married.
you say that in the video?
No.
No, I was going to say the same thing. What's next? We're going to do restaurants now.
We're going to open stores. We're going to have storefronts. We're going to buy up all the old Disney stores.
We're going to make sure everybody works there is diverse.
So, oh my God. So they hired Mike Verdu to focus on the video games. In total, Netflix added 1.5 million subscribers in the second quarter, just above Wall Street forecasts. But it didn't really help them. It really didn't, because the stocks were down. They said, here they have a CNN Business. Why Netflix isn't pressing the panic button yet?
Yet.
Because long term, if they're betting the farm on video games, I'm going to be completely blunt, they're fucked.
If they're betting on the farm on some of the things they've been picking up lately, they're going to be fucked.
Yeah, so let's talk a little bit. Let's talk a little bit more about Netflix and their choices. So you sent this over that they're putting together a new team that's going to monitor diversity and inclusion representation and keep their breakout stars busy.
Right. So they have new stars that are like on shows that they push diversity and inclusion on, and it supposedly does well. Those stars will get to keep having more and more work. So we can make sure that only certain people. So we're only going to make sure that certain types of people get the megaphone and get to be the ones to do all the jobs. You mean like what you said the problem was before you did this, but in reverse?
Yeah.
Why don't we just do good stories with good characters, and some characters happen to be white, and some characters happen to not be white, and some characters happen to be straight, and some characters happen to not be straight, and because that's just what the story calls for.
Well, if the story calls for that, then they change the story. I mean, we did the video earlier talking about Kevin Smith's Masters of the Universe, and if you look at what they're saying, what they're looking for, He-Man would have been one of the most problematic shows out there. It's like, wait, it's mostly muscle-bound dudes, and the main character is a big blonde-haired, blue-eyed guy, muscle-bound dude.
I'm surprised they're allowed to call it Masters of the Universe. I thought you weren't allowed to use that term anymore.
I know, right? I was waiting for that.
I can't wait to see the porn version of this, Masters of the Universe. That's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny that they're bringing these teams in. For diversity and inclusion, they're talking about how we need to push diversity and inclusion. When the one guy who was working on the Masters of the Universe show, and he was the head of original content or whatever he was.
BSLE,
yeah, that dude. Yeah. And the one guy, the black guy, was saying to him, I don't want hand-me-down characters, whereas the new characters, which is, a fair question, and basically patted him on the head and was like, well, that's coming, but, they're even talking down to people. They said they're claiming they need to represent more.
So yeah, they said that the streamer has, for the first time, created an in-house casting department to oversee all casting decisions for North American productions. So
wait, we're going to put an in-house casting department. You didn't have one before now?
Yeah, that's really surprising.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Most companies used to hire outside companies to do casting for them, but apparently they want to control more.
So they've got these three people coming in as directors of casting for series, nonfiction, and film, but they also hired somebody to oversee animation. Two people. Chandra Austin and Simber Sklar to manage casting for animated series and films. So they've got their own diversity and inclusion gatekeepers.
Wait, it gets better. We have the opportunity to work on this holistically and look at our casting ecosystem within Netflix. That's what they're saying.
Okay. All right.
How are we sharing talent internally? Basically, get a couple people that are really diverse and then make them put them in everything.
Yeah, it sounds like we're going to get the same 5 people in every...
Wait, the newly minted department heads say they won't be mandating any casting decisions. Then what's the point?
I don't believe that because, look, Amazon... We didn't even bother covering this. This was last month, and they basically came out and said there has to be a golden ratio of certain kinds of people on camera and behind the camera.
They've been all doing this. Netflix has done this before, too.
Disney's doing it. ABC's doing it.
Look, I'm for diversity 100%. And I think that they do need to do better about making sure, especially behind the camera, that we've got more people that aren't just certain types of people. I don't disagree with that. What I disagree with is the idea that you have to hire people based on, identity and not necessarily over talent, or you have to hire people based on, or people say somebody is really talented and they're a very, very good actor. Then everybody's gonna be like, are they hired because they're a good actor? Or are they hired because they're, certain check boxes? And that's stupid. Just, here's an idea. Maybe just hire a good actors in the first place that happen to be XYZ and not make it a mandate. And then people will be like, well, it's a good actor. Not, well, it's a good actor who's mandated to be there.
Yeah, because that's going to
It's disrespectful to the actors.
It's going to cast doubt on people because you're always going to wonder, like, am I here because
As a woman, I would. Am I hired because I'm good or am I hired because I have tits, And that's a different industry. But
yeah, sometimes women get hired because they
I'm
have
just
tits,
saying.
yeah.
I'm like, I think that's insulting, and I think that you're never gonna. There's always gonna be room for someone to ridicule you because you didn't get because they're not hiring based on merit necessarily. I can't speak necessarily. They're mandating things, so they might have 2 actors that are for a job, and one actor is really, really, really good and happens to be diverse and gets hired, and then the people are gonna be like, well, did they get hired because they were really good, or they get hired because they were that, certain race or gender or sexual orientation or whatever.
Well, I do believe that, they can say that this isn't the case, but you look at some of the stuff going on with Netflix shows, and it becomes very obvious that, there's somebody behind the scenes being like, no, we got to make these things more diverse and inclusive.
Right, and then they're ruining things, existing things. Okay, just step over it and make new things.
Well, it's, again, I think a lot of look, Kevin Smith lied. He lied. But I also think he was put in a position by Netflix and possibly Mattel, most likely Netflix, to be like, well, if you want He-Man on Netflix, we're going to have to change the premise of the show.
Right. Him and the other 2 men that were behind He-Man.
The other 2 white men.
Behind Masters of the Universe, where wanted to make sure that it was mandated that they made the show about women and diversity.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, they have to keep those other check boxes coming so they don't lose their spots.
I mean, look, Quentin Tarantino, he said he's checking out of Hollywood after this next movie because it's all about ideology over art. And when you start requiring quotas for entertainment, instead of just telling...
either. It's like stories by committee.
That's exactly what it is. It's like, this is insane. This is like, look, you tell the story you want to tell, and organically, if you're letting everybody have a shot, an equal shot, which is where I think we need to do.
A legitimate equal shot.
Right,
yes.
right. Then you're going to naturally get more diversity in stories. But what we don't see though are like studios set up in like the Midwest or like Alaska or down the bayou or something like that. You're going to get totally different stories than L.A. and New York.
Yeah,
always.
That's a good idea. Let's not go to L.A. and New York anymore.
No. Because it's all the same stuff. There's not enough diversity in LA and New York.
You know why places like YouTube are like kicking Hollywood's ass? Because people can go there and get honesty. They can get true diversity. They can get different points of view. They can get different. They can see different people who are talented without having to be the people that Hollywood says you have to watch. And I think the problem is and if they have to mandate this crap, that's shit on them. They should have been doing this to begin with. That it shouldn't even have to be mandated. It should have been just like, automatically we're going to try to be inclusive, and they weren't.
Yeah.
But I'm just so tired of it. Now it's going to be forced. It's forced inclusivity, forced diversity, and it's going to definitely come across.
Yep, that's Zack Snyder. He just signed a deal with Netflix. He's not going to be able to do what he wants to do, right? It's going to be, Yeah, it's, I mean, this is the thing. The only way Zack Snyder could actually do the kinds of movies he probably wants to do is if he crowdfunded or something. You know, and that might
But
be.
now he pissed off a lot of people the whole way around, so.
Yeah, but yeah, he did. But that might actually be where, you know, a lot of these creators go next is like, we got to go just do our own stuff outside the Hollywood system because we're not going to be allowed to tell the stories we want to tell because of all the corporate interference.
What's interesting too anymore is there are so many choices of what you can watch, and so much old stuff out there, so much new stuff. There's so much out there that you don't, you know, if you don't want to watch their shit, you don't have to. And I think that's the problem they're having too, is people are realizing I don't have to watch these if I don't want to, and they're not.
They're not. Yeah, you have a choice, you know, and a lot of people. I mean, this is what, you know, going back to what we talked about the other day, that the comic book back issues are blowing up because people want comics. They just don't want new comics.
They don't want the comics from your comics. They want comics, they just don't want your comics.
Yeah, so they're going to manga and they're going to back issues.
Yeah, and meanwhile, manga and anime are blown up. Even over here, they're bringing anime movies over here, like Demon Slayer, and they're kicking ass.
Yeah.
People have a choice. They're going to go see that.
Yep, that's exactly what's going on. So it's not just Netflix. Disney Plus is not doing well either. We talked about this before, that they're not hitting the subscriber goals they were hoping for.
Nope.
And they keep going to India because they're like, well, India's got a lot of people, so let's, you know, but the thing is that in India, I guess, when you break it down with Hotstar, they're not paying nearly as much
It's like
as
45 cents.
It's like 45 cents a per.
As opposed to like what? Not is it $8 now?
It's like $8 now.
Here, some other places it's cheaper too. The problem too is that people subscribe to Disney Plus just to go see the couple shows they have they want to see, like Loki, and then as soon as it's over, they unsubscribe.
Yeah.
So that's part of it.
Yeah, this is what we talked about the other day, where they're basically like, yeah, it's not doing well. You know, I mean, a lot of it is, I think, once people are out of lockdown, they're going to be spending more time outside, hopefully working. You know, it seems like people are having a really hard time going back to work. But yeah, hopefully working, hopefully getting out, doing stuff, getting out, not stuck in their house on their iPads
on
Twitter. So I think we're going to see a lot of this explosive growth kind of wind down.
Well, not just that. I think what's going to happen is we're going to see people turn away from this stuff because they're not going to watch it if they don't want to. And then these places are going to have to reassess where they're at. Because now people aren't home, being keyboard warriors all day.
Yeah.
But actually, a lot of them probably still are, but
Yeah, and again, they bring up that the flat line started with the $1 price hike. And they don't have the content.
It wasn't that much, but it was a deal breaker for a lot of people.
Yeah, it was. I mean, people pay $15 for HBO. They pay $15 for Netflix, but Netflix has a lot more content.
Right.
Unfortunately, it sounds like Netflix is going to have a lot more content that maybe some people aren't going to be interested in because it's all going to be by committee.
I mean, come on, Netflix just got all the Twilight movies.
I know, right?
That's going to completely save them.
Oh, God.
Our daughter tried to watch like 20 minutes of it. She goes, this sucks. Turn it off. She's like, this is cringy.
It's bad. I mean, Twilight's bad. But no, it's funny. They bring up what we've been talking about, that there's not enough content on Disney Plus for a general audience. I mean, there's a lot of Disney stuff on there. You know, if your kids are going to sit down and watch the same shows over and over and over and over again, fine.
Yeah.
But when you've got Netflix and HBO Max even cranking out new content every damn week, and Disney's like, oh yeah, we got a new show, and then like another 2 months we're gonna have another new show, singular, one new show.
It's shitty as a lot of these shows have been coming out from these places because they're trying to get quantity over quality. I don't understand why it's so hard. Why they don't have room for everything anyway?
Yeah,
they want all this stuff, so why are you limiting it by like these guidelines or whatever? Because you could probably get as much content that meets those guidelines and then still have content that might not, but you need fodder for the subscribers. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and the thing is, you always have to. You can't just like put it out there and rely on your because now you've set the precedent that, especially with Netflix, like there's something new like every damn day. Mm-hmm. There's so much content.
Doesn't have to be good.
Doesn't have to be good.
Just has to be new.
Just has to be new, and you promote it, and people binge it, and then they move on. And that's why a lot of these shows, I don't think they get, second, third, fourth seasons, because they're like, okay, I already saw it, whatever. Move on to the next thing. Every once in a while, you'll get a Stranger Things, which, is like a whole nother level of success. But Not very often. It's just it's fodder, like you said. It's
No,
just
and
like-
most of the time, what they're doing is they have something established. They change it just to change it for these guidelines, and then the old fans are like, "Well, that's stupid," and then they tune out.
yeah, well, it's like even He-Man Revelation. People are gonna completely forget about it by next week, other than to be pissed off.
Oh yeah, they're not gonna. They're remembering it's not gonna be a good one.
Yeah, they'll be like, oh yeah, remember when they tried rebooting He-Man on Netflix? Yeah, that was a shit show. Next,
Try to be He-Man without He-Man.
He-Man without He-Man. All right, so we're gonna wrap this one up.
Yep.
Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. We'll talk later.
Bye.